Hey guys, welcome back. How you doing today? Good. I got to go to work a little late today for dog training classes. So I figured I got a couple hours. I'll do a video, and this camera's awful low. 1 second. There we go. More of my sexy mug. Um, do a video for you. And I got thinking what I was going to do, and I just kind of had a coffee and thought about it. And this came to mind. It's going to be 10. Count them. What did everybody do? I did 10 fragrances that are must tries. I know a lot of people do go must buys and stuff. I'm not a believer in must buys. If you like something, then it's a must buy. I could give you my 10 must buys, but my 10 could be completely different than your 10. That's why these are must tries. You know what I mean? You should try them. I'll never do a must buy list. I don't think. Maybe my personal that I would buy, but that would be it. I wouldn't recommend to go out and buy something without trying it first. So these are must tries. And I wanted to keep them not necessarily unknown, of course not. You know, all of these have been mentioned many, many times. They just don't seem to get the hype that a lot of the other fragrances from the same houses usually get, and it's kind of criminal actually, because I think these are all great fragrances for. A lot of them are a little, they're still, there's some upper end designers and mid designers. A few of them you can get really good prices on discounters. Some of them not so much. So this isn't a priced list or anything like that. This is just ones you should try, and if you like and you have the money, you should buy. But at least try them. The first and only caveat, honorable mention I'm going to talk about is Vetiver Eau de Parfum by Soli Notes. And the reason it's an honorable mention and not on the list, because it would be, is because I don't think it's available anywhere except for Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. Don't know about the States if it's available. I don't know anywhere. But basically in North America, the only place I've ever seen it, in Canada anyway, I should say North America, but in Canada, is at Shoppers Drug Mart. So, but if you do have a Shoppers near you or a place that sells these, give this one a smell. It's minty, it's green, it's fresh, a little sweet with that kind of grassy, musky, woody vetiver. A very classic kind of gentlemanly vetiver. A very nice fragrance. Knock on its performance, 4 or 5 hours. But hey, it's $20. It smells a lot. It doesn't smell cheap. It just performance is just. But if you have a Shoppers near you or a place that sells them, and I'm sorry if there's somewhere else that does, and I don't know, I can only go by my local geographical region, and it's only Shoppers. Soli Notes Vetiver. Very nice fragrance. Very nice fragrance. Let's kick it off with one that did get a lot of hype, and I feel over the last couple of years it's kind of been forgotten, and nobody tends to talk about it anymore. It's definitely a polarizing scent, and that's probably why most people like or hate it. But to me, if you like woody, peppery cedar, woody, sharp, rosy, floral kind of fragrances, spices throughout, lots of nutmeg, you're going to like this scent, and it's a shame that it's kind of been forgotten or starting to be forgotten. And that's Machino Toy Boy. Stupid bottle. I mean, I like it, but let's be real, it's not the greatest bottle in the world. Yeah, like I said, just that sharp, peppery citrus and sharp woods and florals, and it's a very sharp, dry fragrance. Lots of nutmeg in it, and great performer too. Great performer. These aren't reviews either. I'm not giving you a bunch of notes and this, but just a quick little thing. Next is another one that a lot of people who are into fragrances, like a few of the bigger YouTubers, really like, but never seems to get any play by a lot of people, and that's Dolce & Gabbana Intenso. If you like the original Dolce & Gabbana and you're saddened by the new formulation and stuff like that, give this a try. Citrus, tobacco, lavender, a little grassy vetiver hay-like quality to it. Very similar to the original, but with way better performance. Next is I had to include a Barber Shop fragrance, and believe it or not, it's a Perry Ellis fragrance. And I also wanted to say that these fragrances aren't ones you're going to have a hard time finding. I don't know if I mentioned that at the first. You can pretty much go into any store that sells fragrances and pick one of these up, or not pick them up, but like I said, try them. And I want to kind of keep it that way because I didn't want to include stuff that's hard to find because you can't try them, right? Anyway, that's Perry Ellis portfolio, the blue one. I put a little bit on my hand. Classic citrus and lavender, some leather. It's a classic barbershop fragrance. A little more to it, like I said, a little more citrusy than something like Azaro, but very nice fragrance. Clean, soapy lavender with the citrus, a hint of sweetness. It's a great fragrance. Performance not so bad either. So if you like your barbershops, or you want to try a barbershop, it's not an expensive fragrance. $20. You can try it out, or just like I said, go to the store and spray it on and try it first. LMPA Home, Lolita LMPA, has some similarities, quite a bit, quite similar to the mall, but with a few differences. A little sharper, a little more, a little more sharper is the best way I can describe it than the mall. Not a bad fragrance at all, though. Yeah, very nice fragrance. Very nice fragrance. So a lot of lavender, a lot of vanilla, a little bit of green, a little bit of mint. Very similar to them all. Very similar to them all. But again, you can pick it up at Shoppers right now for like $20. So go in and try it. Calvin Klein. I know. You can still buy this in my local Shoppers, so I included it. I'm not sure if it's readily available, if it's discontinued or not. I didn't bother looking that hard into it. But I know you can walk into my Shoppers, Yard Mart Beauty Boutique, and still pick this up. So it's going on the list. And that's Eternity Now by Calvin Klein. If you like sweet, summery, tropical sweet kind of fragrances, coconut and fruits, you're going to like this one. Geez, all I can smell is that LMPA. What a nice fragrance. A little more floral than the mall also, but very the mallish. But this one here, this reminds me a lot of Le Beau, Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Beau, that tropical coconut bomb. Not as strong, which makes it better in my opinion, and with a little bit more of a emphasis on the freshness, not so much the fruity tropical sweetness, that coconut, but very similar, very nice fragrance, good performance on it. Again, $20. Give it a try, guys. One that's been around forever and a day, old money, but doesn't really get the talk that it should, I think. And that's by Sauvage, or by Christian Dior, and that's Eau Sauvage. Classic citrus, leather, woods, lavender, barbershop-esque, but not a barbershop. More of a citrus fougere than a barbershop type fougere. Somewhat, slightly reminiscent of something like English leather. Better than that, of course. Though English leather isn't bad, but slightly reminiscent. It reminds me of that. And sometimes I'll smell it like, a little bit of English leather, but it's not a. They're not. You're not going to smell one and think it's the other one. You know what I mean? You're going to smell this and be like, oh, it's English leather. You're not going to smell English leather. Oh, it's Eau Sauvage. Just it kind of in that frame of fragrance, right? Classic masculine. Was it like the 50s? I mean, good God. Just a great fragrance that does not get talked enough about. If you're looking for something classy, masculine, old school, boom, this is your jam. Rather expensive even on discounters, but worth every penny. But give it a try. Another one that a lot of people crapped on, and I don't know why. I really enjoy it, and I think you guys should try it. And that was a few years ago, Polo released Polo Cologne Intense. I think what happened is a lot of people thought it was going to be a modern interpretation of the original Polo Green, and they got upset when it wasn't. Although, unlike most of them, I do pick up a little bit of that original Polo DNA in this. It's lacking the pine and the tobacco and the heavy leather. It has a little bit of leather in it and a little bit of woods. It's lacking that. I understand that. But if you really smell it, it really is a modern take on that classic. Something easily wearable. You know, it's green. It's woody. It's got, like I said, a bit of that Polo DNA in it without being grandpa old school uber masculine, right? It's more than it's a classier fragrance, and it's a lighter fragrance. It's not near as strong as the original, but still, what a great fragrance. I mean, give it a try. It will surprise you, I think, and especially if you go in not expecting it to be more Polo Green. You're going to pick up that Polo Green DNA. It's just basically a green, woody, fresh fragrance, honestly. And it's very nice, very well done. One of Polo's better fragrances done lately, in the last 10 years anyway. Next is by the House of Replica, or Replica by the House of Mason Margiela. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, he's going to talk about Jazz Club. He's going to talk about By the Fireplace, Coffee Break, Under the Lemon Tree. And they are all ones you should try. But this one doesn't get near the amount of attention, and I think it should. And that's Whispers in the Library. I've talked about it before. It's my favorite Replica fragrance, and it wasn't at first. It grew on me real quick. But yeah, just this nice, soft, sweet vanilla and woods. And the woods are a light woods, giving it a bit of like that paper vibe you get in the library. Just a great fragrance. Very unisex, man or woman. Not the heaviest fragrance, not the most well-performing. I mean, longevity's good on it, but the projection and the sillage and stuff, not the greatest. But, Whispers in the Library. I don't think you shouldn't expect that. It's a very intimate type of fragrance, a very for you fragrance. It's not cloying. Maybe in like this heat wave we're having, it would be, of course, but pretty much, like I said, anything but citrus fragrances are. Yeah, give it a try, guys. I think you'd really like this one. Just go give it a try. Go to Sephora, spray it on the back of your hand, and go walk around, have a coffee, do what you do, walk around the mall, wherever you're at, and, let it settle half hour or so. I think you'll really like it. Next is by Versace. And of course, people are thinking, oh, he's going to talk about the Dreamer. Blue Jeans. No. I'm going to talk about one that, again, is kind of like Polo Green. It came out as a flanker. It came out, and for whatever reason, people just, most people just kind of like, nah, whatever. It's not my thing. And that's Versace Aros Flame. My favorite Aros, by far. It's got a nice citrusy, sweet tonka, sweet vanilla that Aros is known, tonka vanilla that Aros is known, but with a good dose of citrus off the top and a little bit of spice. Incredible performer. My God, just a couple sprays all day. But my favorite Aros by far, if I'm going to wear an Aros, it's going to be Versace. It's going to be, or if I'm going to wear Aros, it's going to be the Flame. It's the one way more character than the original. The original is just kind of apple tonka vanilla, This has got, like I said, some citruses, that apple tonka, that vanilla tonka we're talking about, and some spice and a little bit of woods and musk. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous for that type of fragrance. Last but not least, is a YSL Lana Loam fragrance. Again, which one am I going to pick? Well, it's one that I think has grown on me considerably, and I think it's grown on a lot of people, because a lot of people, when it first came out, say, no, it's just this, not good. Just, it's basically Aros, grown-up version of Aros, and I agreed, it was when I first smelled it, but over the years, wearing it here and there, it's grown on me. It's become one of my favorite Lana Loams. And it really isn't just a grown-up Aros. I was mistaken. I think most people were. And that's Lana Weedalome O Electric, not Blue Electric, O Electric, the blue, the original blue one. It's got that Tonka, that modern 2020-ish thing that was happening with the Tonka, with, like I said, the arrows and stuff. It's definitely got that, but it's basically, they took the Lana Weedalome DNA, that cardamom, that ginger, that, you know, everything Lana Weedalome is known for, and a little bit of loam, and gave it the modern Tonka vanilla kind of amber-like sweetness, and that's exactly what you get in this. And when you first spray it on, you are definitely hit with that Tonka. That's when it reminds you most of Aros. A little bit of citrus and Tonka, but within a good hour or so, it keeps that sweet Tonka base, and it's never overly sweet, bubblegummy sweet. Like I said, it's more of that kind of powdery, earthy Tonka sweetness, right? And you start picking up on a lot of cardamom, like a lot. You're picking just as much cardamom in this as there is in Lana Weedalome. It's basically, it becomes Lana Weedalome with a cardamom or a Tonka base, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't get bad performance on this one. You know, I'm getting about 6 or 7 hours for a loam fragrance. That's really good. And this is actually my most complimented Lana Weedalome fragrance, which shouldn't be surprising. It is very nice. A lot nicer than a lot of people think. And if you give it a try, if you go to the store, give it a try, I think you'll. Don't judge it on the first half hour, 40 minutes. Let that Lana Weedalome DNA come out and mix with that, you know, I guess Aros kind of DNA. Let them mix. And within an hour, you're going to get a very unique Lana Weedalome, but very similar Lana Weedalome. You know what I mean? It's safe but different at the same time, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So that's it, guys. That's 10 fragrances you should go try. Don't blind buy, unless you just don't care. Then, I mean, who am I to tell you what to do with your money? It's your money. Do what you want. I'm just saying you shouldn't blind buy them. Go try them. Out of all of these, which ones would I say you should try first? Definitely the Lana Weedalome. Definitely the Polo Intense. And probably Whispers in the Library. They would be the three I'd go out if I were you and immediately try first. The rest of them are really good, but those three to me are just even a step above the rest of these. And they're just really good and completely underrated fragrances. They should be way more popular than that, in my humble opinion, of course. You may disagree, and that's cool. We're allowed to. All right, guys, that's it. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.